Local rivers this weekend, temperatures expected in the upper 80s, but at 11, how a quick dip in that 49-degree water can be a big mistake.
CBS News up next, everyone. We'll see you back here at 11 tonight.
Tonight, end of the road. One by one, hundreds of GM dealers got the word today they're out of business. Tens of thousands of jobs will disappear. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, President Obama resurrects a Bush administration policy. Some of the terror suspects at Guantanamo will get military trials after all. Graphic photos of a fatal accident spread across the web, and now the courts are asked to decide, do the dead have a right to privacy? And geographic names. The answer is... Steve Hartman has the correct question in tonight's Assignment America.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. They've been part of the American landscape for decades. Automobile showrooms along the roadways in city after city, town after town. But that picture is about to change drastically as the U.S. auto industry struggles for survival. GM told about 1,100 of its 6,200 dealers today it's cutting them off, just one day after Chrysler did the same to 789 of its dealers. So nearly 1,900 dealerships going away, taking more than 100,000 jobs with them. Both GM and Chrysler say there are just too many dealerships competing with each other, driving prices down. Here's Dean Reynolds.
General Motors said it should be no surprise to the dealers who got the bad news today. In a call to reporters from his $60,000 Cadillac Escalade, a GM executive explained.
They were well below average, basically dealerships that are, in most cases hurting, losing money, in danger of going out of business anyways.
The affected dealers accounted for only 7% of GM sales last year. Indeed, 500 of them averaged just 35 sales a year. Near Atlanta, a bitter Chuck Clancy got one of the form letters.
We open it up and it doesn't tell you what you did wrong, what you did right. It just tells you you're not going to be a dealer after 2010.
The National Auto Dealers Association estimates about 63,000 people will lose jobs, along with thousands more employed by suppliers.
We may not like the message, but the reality of it is something has to be done.
And Friday's reductions are not the last. GM said more dealers will go when it sheds Hummer, Saturn, and Saab, all part of a plan to drop from 6,000 dealers to fewer than 4,000. And presenting GM as a lean machine as it faces a June 1st restructuring deadline to forestall bankruptcy. But whether it does or not, the turmoil could be a turnoff.
Why even take that risk of going to the GM dealer when you could just go down to the Ford dealer or the Honda dealer or the Toyota dealer, the Nissan dealer? You've got a lot of choices.
Unlike Chrysler's abrupt termination of 1/4 of its dealerships on Thursday, GM will give its jettisoned dealers a wind-down period to stay open until the fall of next year, giving them time to reduce the 65,000 vehicles on their lots.
Most GM dealers were quiet today, preferring not to publicize their plight nor alienate GM with loud complaints that could make it harder to appeal this decision, which they can still do until the end of this month. Katie?
Dean Reynolds in Chicago tonight. Thank you, Dean. And we're just beginning to see the economic ripple effect of all these closings, devastating to the workers and the communities where they live. Here's Nancy Cordes.
Our total payroll is $88.6 million.
Tammy Darvish owns 18 dealerships, most of them in Maryland. With 2 cut loose yesterday and a 3rd hanging by a thread, not only do 300 people stand to lose their jobs, but 233 local vendors stand to lose big business.
It could be a cleaning company, it could be towing companies, companies that we buy our tires from.
There are few firms more intertwined with their communities than car dealerships.
Every middle school in the area, all the parks and recs, you name it, we've tried to attach our name to it.
Today, even as he braced for the fate of his Chevy franchise, Jim Stutzman was teeing up at a charity golf tournament in Winchester, Virginia.
In good times, I'm talking upwards of 6 figures a year that I drive back into our community.
And that's before you factor in the taxes he and other dealers pay. vital to small cities like Bonham, Texas. It lost $1.1 million in sales and real estate tax revenue when this Ford GM dealer closed in November. It was nearly 8% of the mayor's entire yearly budget.
Our economy is suffering not only from the tax hit, but from the direct employment of 45 careers and families that are now going to have to move away.
GM claimed today that the dealerships it dropped were doing so poorly they would have closed anyway. Is that true in your case?
In our case, no, and the same with yesterday. It's not like we're not viable, we're properly capitalized.
And that, she says, is the true tragedy. Nobody wins. Not the automaker, not her workers, and certainly not the neighborhood. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, Silver Spring, Maryland.
In other news, one of the terror suspects held at Guantanamo was flown today to France, where he has relatives. A review cleared Lakhdar Boumediene of all charges. He, by the way, was at the center of a landmark Supreme Court case that found Guantanamo prisoners have a right to challenge their detentions in civilian courts. Wyatt Andrews tells us his release comes on the same day President Obama decided to reinstitute a Bush administration policy of trying terror suspects in military courts.
During the campaign, then-candidate Obama promised to overhaul what he called the unfair trials called military commissions then going on in Guantanamo.
As president, I will close Guantanamo, reject the Military Commissions Act.
Those commissions, he argued, were harming the global standing of the U.S.
We are less safe because of the way George Bush has handled this issue.
Which is why the president's decision to keep military commissions, just with different rules, was shocking to civil liberties groups and to lawyers representing the detainees.
I don't think he's lived up to the expectations that he's set. He's been all about fairness, and this system, by definition, is designed to make it easier to convict.
The new rules for military commissions would substantially improve the rights of detainees. Evidence obtained through torture or even cruel or degrading interrogation methods would no longer be allowed. But hearsay evidence from sources with second-hand information would be allowed if prosecutors prove the hearsay is reliable. The White House argues those rules are so different, the president is not breaking his campaign pledge.
The notion that this is the same vehicle is simply not true.
But the decision also means President Obama has reached the same conclusion as President Bush, that at least 20 of the detainees who were seen as too dangerous to release might be set free if tried in a regular U.S. court. The president's other promise to close Guantanamo is also in trouble. Europe has balked at taking the detainees. Congress doesn't want them on U.S. soil. The president has a prison to close with no place for the inmates to go. Katie?
Wyatt Andrews. Wyatt, thank you. And now to where the war on terror began, Afghanistan. An international human rights group accused the U.S. today of not doing enough to protect civilians there. Afghan officials claim an airstrike last week killed more than 140. The U.S. military calls that an exaggeration and says the Taliban are responsible for many of the deaths. Since 2006, nearly 5,000 Afghan civilians have been killed. A major problem for the U.S. military as it tries to win support for its mission, with 21,000 additional American troops getting ready to join the battle. I traveled to Afghanistan last week with Defense Secretary Robert Gates for an exclusive 60 Minutes report.
Good afternoon, everybody.
With a new president, a new strategy is taking hold in Afghanistan. And Secretary Gates went there to make sure troops have what they need to conduct a counterinsurgency, like armored vehicles to protect them from roadside bombs and more field hospitals to treat them if they're wounded. Most of the additional troops coming here to southern Afghanistan will be used very much like the surge troops were in Iraq. They'll move into cities and villages, secure them, and protect the local population from Taliban intimidation. That will buy time to build up the Afghan army and police force so U.S. troops can leave. The question is, how long will that take?
I don't know the answer to that question. You want certitude where there is no certainty. This is a war.
Gates admitted that it will take 2 to 4 years before Afghan security forces even begin to take the lead in military operations. In the meantime, some tactics, like rooting terrorists out of safe havens, are a double-edged sword. Missile strikes by unmanned drones along Pakistan's border with Afghanistan have infuriated the local population because they inevitably lead to civilian casualties. Given what they're costing in popular support, are these missile strikes really worth it?
I'm not going to talk about any specific military operations or activities in which we may be engaged. I would just say we will go after al-Qaeda wherever in the world they are.
In that other war, Iraq, 13 U.S. troops and 48 civilians have been killed already this month. American forces are scheduled to be out by 2011. What if everything goes to hell in a handbasket? Do you think that U.S. forces may have to be redeployed?
I think it would be very difficult for a president to redeploy significant U.S. forces to Iraq.
So it wouldn't happen?
I would be very surprised.
Even though...
There is a certain point in this process when the Iraqis have to take responsibility for their own future.
Bob Gates began his career in government 43 years ago and has served 8 presidents. He made it clear to me at his office in the Pentagon he appreciates the past.
3 antiques in the room, 4 if you include me. The desk belonged to General John J. Pershing, Blackjack Pershing. The table behind the desk belonged to Ulysses S. Grant.
Wow.
And the little round table, I'm told, belonged to Jefferson Davis when he was Secretary of War before he led the rebellion.
He may be a Washington insider, but thinks it's a city full of egos and hypocrites. But even if you don't like Washington, you like your job.
But the truth of the matter is being Secretary of War in a time of war is a very painful thing. I mean, how can you like a job when you go to Walter Reed or Bethesda and you know you sent those young men and women in harm's way? And I never forget that for a second. So no, I don't enjoy my job.
You can watch the full report on my trip with Secretary Gates this Sunday on 60 Minutes. And coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, gruesome accident photos spread across the internet. Does the victim have the right to privacy after death?
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase, so tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever or unexplained weakness or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
If you take Plavix with other heart medicines, continuing to do so will help increase your protection against a future heart attack or stroke beyond your other heart medicines alone. You may be feeling better, but your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
Ever wonder how Cheez-It bakes so much real cheese in such small bites? Well, now you know. Cheez-It, the big cheese.
Bush's baked beans.
Jay, it's Grandpa Bush. Let Duke sell Bush's secret family recipe.
Nice try, Duke.
How'd you know it was me?
Grandpa didn't have a tail.
Oops.
Enjoy Bush's baked beans made with our secret family recipe.
You take Beano at a different time than when you take these gas relievers. You take Beano before your first bite of food so you don't get gas. You take these once you notice you have gas. And let's just hope you're the first to notice. Take Beano before, and there'll be no gas.
Going 3 times a night? I'm used to it. Time out.
Wearing pads just in case? I don't mind it. Much.
Time out. Are you really going to put up with overactive bladder forever? Talk to your doctor and give the coping a time out.
The classic flavors of Tuscany. Inspiration for Fancy Feast Elegant Medley's Tuscany entrees. Restaurant-inspired dishes with long grain rice and garden greens. Is it love or is it Fancy Feast?
It may seem like a very strange question for a court to decide. Does someone who's dead have a right to privacy? Ben Tracy tells us a ruling is expected soon in a case that has exposed a dark and disturbing side of the internet.
Nikki Katsouris seemed to have it all. Looks, a loving family, and a good life in California's Orange County.
She was just this free spirit, never had any worries or fears.
But the 18-year-old was experimenting with cocaine. On Halloween 2006, Nikki was supposed to see a psychiatrist. Instead, she took her dad's Porsche, flew nearly 100 miles per hour down this highway, clipped another car, flipped across the median, and crashed into a toll booth. This is what was left of the car. The accident scene here was so horrific, the coroner would not allow Nikki's parents to help identify her body. Little did they know millions of people would see their daughter's tragic death.
I didn't understand it initially. I didn't understand, what do you mean there's pictures?
Within days, accident scene photos showed up online. The most horrific, which we won't show, were of Nikki's nearly decapitated head. The pictures got out when at least one California Highway Patrol dispatcher emailed them to friends. From there, they spread like wildfire. Today, the name Nikki Katsouris returns nearly 3 million results on Yahoo. Someone even emailed Christos the most gruesome photo of his daughter.
What do you make of that, of someone who would do that?
Sick. Just horribly sick.
His 3 other daughters now fear seeing their sister's picture online.
I won't go on the internet unless I have to for like school and stuff like that, and that's it.
Online expert Michael Furtick says new laws are needed to protect privacy on the internet.
Photos leak, comments get spread around, rumors get spread around. It happens to regular, undeserving people all the time.
The Katsourises eventually realized they couldn't fight cyberspace.
These internet predators that are harming us, that won't take the photos down, have more rights than we do.
That's true. Even those trafficking and death images online are generally protected by free speech.
And when you give people freedom, they sometimes use it in ways that are offensive and ways even that are disgusting, morally repugnant.
So instead, the Katsourises hired a lawyer and sued the California Highway Patrol for invasion of privacy.
That Nikki's rights to privacy were incredibly violated in this setting. And just because she's dead, that doesn't mean that that claim has died with her.
But the court ruled that privacy rights do not extend to the dead. The family is appealing.
I think I still, in the back of my mind, hope she's going to come home from time to time.
But he also wishes it wasn't so easy to find her. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Orange County, California.
And in business, the stock market
Excedrin PM relieves pain fast, plus a sleep aid to help you fall fast asleep. Excedrin. What ache?
Ever wonder how Cheez-It bakes so much real cheese in such small bites? Well, now you know. Cheez-It, the big cheese.
It's clear we need more energy from all sources. And most Americans agree we need more domestic oil and natural gas. But does that mean you'll see more oil and gas platforms? Well, with advanced subsea technology, one platform can now gather oil from wells 40 miles away. So what used to take many just a few years ago now takes only one. That's more of the oil and natural gas we need from less than meets the eye. Log on to learn more.
Tired of nighttime breathing problems? Here's the solution. Is it a bandage, you ask? No, it's famous drug-free Breathe Right. Ingenious flexible strips that fit your nose to gently open your nasal passages for up to 31% more airflow.
Wow!
You'll breathe better, so you'll sleep better. Small strip, big relief. Bright idea. Breathe better, sleep better, breathe right.
For some, it's hands in the earth. The joy of bringing beauty to life. For others, it's a moment of instant color. And for others, It's the joy of making the outdoors part of the way you live, part of your home. You'll find what you need at Fred Meyer.
Standard TV and appliance mega sale.
Save 12 to 61% on thousands of appliances, HD TVs, and mattresses from the best brands.
Save $270 on select KitchenAid dishwashers.
Save $680 on Maytag front-load laundry pairs.
And through Saturday only, get a Samsung 42-inch HD TV for just $699.
Hurry in. Mega sale prices end soon. See us online at standardtvandappliance.com.
Up in space, repair work on the Hubble telescope is moving along, but there was another glitch today. One pair of new gyroscopes didn't fit, so the astronauts installed a refurbished set instead. They're used to point the telescope, and NASA says the used pair should work just fine. Closer to home, they're predicting stormy skies in Baltimore tomorrow for the Preakness. 13 horses are running, including Kentucky Derby winner Mind That Bird, but he's not the favorite. As Michelle Miller reports, the favorite is a she.
In the sport of kings, there's a queen in the making.
A tour de force by the super filly, Rachel Alexander.
She's blown away her competition, the girls anyway.
I got goosebumps watching her run. I mean, we left there like in awe.
In taking on the big boys in the shortest of the Triple Crown races this Saturday, Rachel Alexandra has already upset the odds and spooked a few horses, like Papa Clem.
Is he upset about this filly in the race?
I don't know if he is, but I am.
Why?
Because I think she's something special.
Special because she could become the first filly to win the Preakness Stakes since Nellie Morse in 1924. Big drama isn't just another horse here. It's the theme of this race. Some owners conspired earlier this week to stack the race with other runners to keep the fast filly out.
The next day I heard that they changed their mind. I guess they got quite a bit of bad press, so they backed down.
Fillies don't normally race against the colts. The boys tend to be bigger, stronger, faster. But Rachel Alexandra is larger than the Kentucky Derby winner. And she's got something else on Mind That Bird, the jockey that rode him to victory at Churchill Downs. With an outside post position, she's less likely to get roughed up at the start.
Often you do get trainers who tell their jockeys to lean on that horse, to bump her, to push her around a little bit.
There are concerns. Racing doesn't need another tragedy like filly 8 Bells, euthanized on the track after last year's Derby. Still,
she's the best filly I've seen personally in a long, long time.
Is she better than the boys?
We'll find out on Saturday.
When the battle of the sexes takes to the track. Michelle Miller, CBS News, Baltimore.
Safe havens for kids, giving families in financial crisis a fighting chance. Katie Couric reports on Children of the Recession, Monday on the CBS Evening News.
Dear cat, gentle cat, your hair mixes with pollen and dust in the air. I get congested, my eyes itch. I have to banish you to the garden. But now with Zyrtec D, I have the proven allergy relief of Zyrtec, plus a powerful decongestant. I can breathe freer with Zyrtec D. So I'll race you to our favorite chair. I might even let you win. Zyrtec D lets me breathe easier, so I can love the air.
Zyrtec D, behind the pharmacy counter. No prescription needed.
It's back, it's beefed up, and better than ever. It's Applebee's 2 for $20 menu, now including real burgers. 2 of you can get 1 appetizer, 2 entrees, and a real night out for just $20. Choose a classic like our 7-ounce house sirloin and Oriental chicken salad. Or one of Applebee's Real at First Bite real burgers. Made fresh, slammed with flavor, and stacked high with the stuff you love most. Real variety, real value, real deal. 2 for $20 is back, only at Applebee's. It's a whole new neighborhood.
She has this thing about bugs.
No. I do not have a thing about bugs. I have a thing about bugs in our house.
We used to call him Exterminator.
Oh, now I go Ortho, Home Defense Max. I use it once inside to kill the bugs.
Stops them dead.
Guaranteed. And outside to keep new ones from moving in. That's up to 12 months protection against bugs.
And 12 months of keeping our house to ourselves.
Until your mother comes.
Right. Ortho Home Defense Max.
Defend what's yours.
Are you going to pick it or not? It's not ready yet.
Tim and Richard Smucker grew up learning that you have to pick fruit at the peak of perfection if you want jam to taste extra delicious.
It's getting close.
For 5 generations, with a name like Smucker's, it has to be good.
So about your 401k at your old job, have you thought about rolling it over? Because I've got some ideas for it.
Well, let's hear them.
Nearly 7 million investors already know the value of real attention. At Edward Jones.
Introducing One-A-Day Women's 2O, the first complete women's multivitamin in a drink mix. With more calcium and vitamin D to support bone and breast health while helping you hydrate. One-A-Day Women's 2O, refreshingly healthy.
Before you even think about beating the weekend heat in the water,
you have to see what happens when Coin Local 6 takes the plunge into the 49-degree river at 11.
We end tonight with the longest body of water in America, more than 4 times as long as the Mississippi, measured not in miles, but letters. Here's Steve Hartman with Assignment America.
There's a lake in Webster, Massachusetts. What lake? It's hard to say.
Why don't you tell me how you say the name of the lake?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I've been practicing. Okay.
Susan Frieswick is president of the local Chamber of Commerce.
Charamanga.
It's her job to promote businesses on the lake.
Lake Charagog.
And yet,
Manchagagog.
Even she
Shabunagog.
can't say what lake.
Missed the last part. Obviously, I didn't practice it enough.
Okay. In Susan's defense, for most people, mastering the name of this place is a lifelong pursuit.
One at a time.
It typically begins in the 3rd grade.
Very good.
Here kids learn it's an old Indian name. They learn it's longer than any other place name in the country and wider than their gym.
We ran out of room.
And they start to learn how to say it. Got that? Me neither. Which brings us to Lake Association president and expert lake name sayer, Dick Kazalt. Supposedly, he knew the right pronunciation.
Other pronunciations?
Pronunciations.
Pronunciations.
Pronunciation.
Obviously, I was skeptical, but he rattled off a pretty convincing rendition.
Lake Shagagagog, Manchagagog, Chabung, Agungamog.
Wow. Fact is, most people go to great lengths to avoid saying the name Lake
Shagagagog, Manchagagog, Chabung, Agungamog.
Instead, they like to call it Webster Lake after the town, or simply the lake. Anything but have to say the whole name.
Shagagagog, Manchagagog, Chabung, Agungamog.
Unfortunately, someone still has to know how to spell it.
Does that look right to you? It's not. Although for the last 6 years, it's been close enough to fool almost everyone.
I pay attention to spelling.
Carla Manzi runs the gift shop. It's her job to cram the 45-letter name onto shirts and hats. So, of course, she noticed the sign right away.
Yeah.
How come you never told anybody?
I did. I think apparently it fell on deaf ears.
Who's going to know other than us?
For 6 years, that was the thinking. Until one extremely observant tourist from Arizona notified the local paper. The scam was up, and the sign was changed.
Awesome.
Question now is, do they know their police cars are wrong, too? Perhaps a story for another day.
Come back again if you've found any errors in my pronunciation.
Pronunciation. And because I know you're going to ask, the name roughly translates to boundary fishing waters. As for next week, I have no idea what I'm going to do for next week, so I'm looking for your ideas. If you have one, go to cbsnews.com, click on Assignment America, and tell me about it.
All right, I'm going to try to come up with some ideas for next week. That was very cute.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Have a good
and
weekend.
that you too. And that is the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Katie Couric. Jeff Glor will be here tomorrow. I'll see you again on Monday. Thanks for joining us this week. Good night.
Get ready for Founders Days at Fred Meyer. It's the biggest and best sale of the year with amazing buys throughout the store. Get grilling with beef ribeye steaks or colossal prawns, just $4.88 a pound during Founders Days at Fred Meyer.
All right, guys, time out. Whatever you got, throw it away, because now I have come take a test drive with Mr. Billy D. Williams.
Smooth. Gets them every time.
Richard, come to Ed's office, please. Richard, Ed's office.
Why Billy D? It's not about being smooth.
Yeah, but Billy D could get people dates.
No, it's about putting people in a car they love.
Some of us wouldn't mind a date here and there.
talking for the love of cars.
Get ready for Founders Days at Fred Meyer. It's the biggest and best sale of the year with amazing buys throughout the store. Get our lowest price on a Samsung 40-inch LCD flat screen TV, just $699.99 during Founders Days at Fred Meyer.
You could win an all-new Chevy Camaro. See your participating Northwest Chevy dealer for details.